Welcome to Insides Matter, a YouTube monthly space where I speak out of 29 years of being a psychologist and out of loving people and art and poemy words to the heart and home of you. Today's focus, clothing and colors. It's a topic I've spoken of before on Instagram Live, but I just got such a good response from doing it that I thought I would do it again a little bit differently, but very similarly, and have it here on our YouTube space together. And um, I am today wearing a dress, a sunflower dress designed by Gudrun Sjoden, Sjoden, who I am an ambassador, clothing ambassador for. And they have an online presence, an in-person presence in New York City, and a lot of stores throughout Europe. And I just love her brand. It's very free to be you and me, coming in colorways of blacks and whites, but also colors. And so just acknowledging that. And I'm also speaking out of my closet today. And I figured we're talking about clothing, so why not being in my closet, clothing and colors. And in our closets, often we have both our clothing, but also other things that we store, right? Like I have some of my original art in portfolios and just other things, right? Be curious to hear in the comments, what are some of what you store in your closet with your clothing? All right. I wanted to begin today with a quick reading, and I'm going to read it out of one of my books called The Great Green Okayness, A Field Guide to Seeing Your Uncommon Magnificence. And you can find this in other books and art of mine at racheloz.com. All right. And this one goes like this. Dress up. Be subversive. Wear a colorful rumpus. Take pleasure in being the dessert of discord and brouhaha. Stand out. Speak up. Let your Kelly green accessory pop against your chartreuse garment. Reveal your amusement. Then step forward and join the world for tea. They will trust you now. They will want to hear what you have to say. A client told me so when I was wearing such an outfit. Someone shared with me this. She said, I believe that if my colors and creative clothing bring a smile to someone else with whom I interact, then I have done another kindness. It's like offering a smile, which these days may be hidden behind a mask. And isn't that so true, to think about our colors, our clothing, as not only what do I feel like wearing today, but I might just be offering a kindness to someone else. I may offer some kind of reset for them in seeing the colors, so that what we wear and what brings us joy can sometimes spark joy and be a gift to one another. Okay, I did receive some time back a number of questions about colors and about clothing, and I'm going to just highlight some of those questions today and respond to them. And I'm going to begin with this one. Does color affect our mood? The short answer is yes, and I'll just give a few examples. Of course, it affects mood and a number of things. So in terms of even appetite in our senses, did you know that if you drink chocolate, like hot chocolate, out of a cream color or an orange colored mug, you're going to perceive that hot chocolate as tasting better to you? And so just how the cream and orange colors affect the taste of chocolate. And then green affects the nervous system, which kind of makes sense, like when we're in nature around trees and so on, prairie grass, that we feel calmer. That green has that effect on our nervous system. And red surfaces give bursts of energy, so it's great to have in a gym in certain areas. And so, yes, color definitely affects mood. And another question was, do you think wearing certain colors magnifies chakra energies? And why do yogis wear white? So, chakras are known to be different energy centers of our ethereal being, right? So, we have this physical being, and we all have different beliefs and thoughts about this, and that's fine. But chakras, the idea of them is that they are different colors. Like purple's up here and blue and different colors, and so that when we wear different colors, it's supposed to help energize and um, magnify the energy in that chakra. So I believe, like, if I was wearing a lot of yellow, it would be my solar plexus or my tummy area, and kind of help out that area. And so even if you don't fully believe that, it could be a meditation where you're using color that way and focusing on an area of your body where you're just wanting to bring some wonderful refreshment to. And the way that our bodies respond beautifully to imagination. And as to why yogis wear white, what I read about that is that it's such a calming, of course it is, just color that's not distracting, and so it helps with an inward focus. And so a couple stories as well that I would love to share with you that were shared with me, and I got permission to share these. And the following stories to me just speak to the mysteries of colors and how they operate, to the healing of colors and how that may operate, and to just so that there's so much bigness when it comes to color and how it affects us. And so one of these stories is this person told me that her beloved grandma who died, that after she died, that occasionally she feels like she shows up in a loving way for her. And the ways she knows she shows up is she is just suddenly flooded with thoughts of her grandma's favorite colors. And it's like being bathed in a cloud of those colors. And then she's like, "Hi, Grandma," when that happens. And another person, or no, that same person also shared with me that when she stands in the shower and she has a headache, that she visualizes the shower washing into her body her favorite colors. And then she visualizes her least pleasurable colors washing out of her. And she said, actually, that really helps for her to let go of headaches. And then a last story from someone else is that she shared with me that one night in her sleep, she experienced a bright red orange flash. And she had gone to bed that night not feeling well. And then, in the night, she experienced almost like a flare of a match, but a bright red orange flash. And then the next morning, she woke up and felt better. And in that moment, she said, when she saw that flash, she sensed that it was some kind of healing. So isn't that all fascinating? Like, oh, that colors could heal. And how much do we utilize that, right? There's something also that I did, I don't know, just a couple months ago. I'd never tried it before, called Colorpuncture. Have any of you ever heard of that? It's like acupuncture, but done with colors. And so this person who does other things, massage and other kinds of body work, she had this instrument that was like this little stylus almost, and just kind of soft. and had like a little light coming out of it, and she would switch up, I think, different colors with it, and she would just swirl it around my forehead, and she would do very purposeful things in that. I didn't know what she was doing, but um so that's a whole thing, right? In terms of colors and healing and light, I believe. Somehow that combination. Okay, someone asked me this question. I wear a lot of black or dark tones, but I'd like to embrace also some color. How do I just even begin? And the just thing I want to whisper softly is, what where would your inner child like to begin? Where would your inner child remembering her or him? Um, how did that little person select clothes and colors? And so maybe just starting some dialogue with little you. I think that might be just maybe free and easy way to begin. Okay, and someone else asked, where do I put colors for most impact in my clothing or. And so, of course, these days, although I think it's getting a little changed up recently, but we have a lot of online context still. And so, of course, our face and this whole area has more impact. So, if you wear eyeglasses, that's a place for impact. You know and sometimes I know that that's not necessarily an expensive solution always. Sometimes I've gotten readers and had lenses put in, and that's a little less expensive and a way to jazz it up. And these days, I think there's a number of ways to get lenses online that's less expensive and so on. But so glasses is a place to play. Of course, our hair, I get hair extensions with different colors regularly, our jewelry here, scarves. I would say that would be a place for most impact. But additionally, fun when in person is like playing with different kinds of purses and, other kinds of accessories. Okay. Okay, someone asked how they can be more brave in their choices with clothing and color. And I think there's all kinds of small steps and ways if you feel a little bit shy about that. I remember for me, one of the steps I took years ago in this regard was, with paper calendars, was getting a Mary Englebright calendar with all these colorful illustrations in it. As a therapist, I'm scheduling and using my calendar all the time. And before that, I had just used very business looking, that's what I told myself, business looking calendars that were just black on the outside. And I thought at the time years ago, ooh, can I really choose this calendar to do scheduling with? Does that look professional? And I just said to myself, you know what? It's me. It's being myself. And isn't this what I want my clients to do and invite them into being themselves? And I just never looked back. And around that same time, I remember trying on a pair of glasses in Dayton's department store, and they were purple and green. I don't have them anymore, but I remember looking in the mirror and I couldn't stop giggling. And I thought, I can't argue with giggling. These are making me so happy. So I think even just with socks, that's kind of a gentle place to begin with being more brave with clothing choices. Like find socks that make you giggle or delight or you feel relief in. Or, the little girl in you might choose, or and so on, or the adolescent, or maybe the 90-year-old. So I think just starting in pieces like that, if you're looking for bravery, I think that's a wonderful place to begin. Okay, someone asked me maybe what are 3 pieces I own that I couldn't live without? And of course, this is a very difficult decision, difficult question, because I love my clothing. I love each piece like they're a doll, like, oh, but just for purposes of this exercise, I've plucked out a few. All right, and here's the few I chose. So the first two of three, the first two are also Gudrun Sodian clothings. This is a cardigan that's called the Sunflower cardigan that came out a number of years ago. And I just love it. I love the detail of what's along the edges here and of embroidered here too. Um, isn't it pretty? Here's just the back, more of that pattern. I don't know. I just love it. And then another Gudrun piece called Bess, Bess, that also came out years ago, that also has the details of the ends of the sleeve, the bottom of the dress, these little adorable looks. And is that not so sweet? Okay, I do love that so much. And then a third item that I'm going to highlight is a more recent item from a different clothing designer, Magnolia Pearl. And here it is. Here is the front. Is that not adorable? With little snaps here to open and close. And then on the back, it says, "You are magical," which I think it might be showing up backwards on the camera. And it's also reversible, so that on the other side there's a star in the middle and pineapples. So those are just super adorable. But I just, like I said, I love all my dollies. Okay, let's see here. Someone asked about Gudrun, what are tips you have for someone who would love to begin having some of her clothing but can't quite afford it? And I would say a couple things that check out eBay, that people sell secondhand, and also on Facebook there's a group called US Buy and Sell Group for Gudrun. And then for fun, if you want, on Facebook, there's also a group called Gudrun Color Therapy that I host. And I would love to let you into that one too. So those would be a few tips there. Someone asked me, do you consider whether new items of clothing will match others in my wardrobe before I buy? And that every now and then that might be true, but mostly what I look for when I'm looking at clothing is, will it match my joy? And then it's the joy that matches in my closet. Let's see here. What do I do with clothing that doesn't fit anymore, but I still want to keep them because I love them so much, was another question. And I have a number of fun ideas that I brainstormed about that. I would say you could do a creative project and take that item that doesn't fit, or items, and cut it into pieces and stitch them together into a new garment. Or stitch them onto those sweet pieces onto parts of a different garment as a way to still have them. Of course, gift to someone you love, save in a special keepsake box. Going back to the other thing, like with those pieces, make it into a quilt or a purse, a little clutch, something like that. You could write them a love letter and just keep the love letters. You could paint them or draw them as a way to hold on to them, but then let go of the actual garment, or write a poem about them. So those are just a few ideas. I wonder what other people do. If you have thoughts and want to put notes in the comment section here to share with everybody, that would be splendid. Okay. And someone asked, do I value what other people think about what I wear? And I'll tell you what, going back to joy, I care about what my joy thinks, because I less want to impact people with like concretely what I'm wearing, and I more want to impact other people with joy and delight. And so just like I was talking about earlier, how our colors can impact others, like green affects the nervous system. So if I was wearing greens, I'd be more interested in hope that the green is impacting the calm of someone near me. So when thinking about other people, I think I might think about it more that way. Okay. And then another question. Someone asked, please speak to the older women's choices in color, hair length, hair color, and being bold, that kind of thing about age. And here are my thoughts about that. Is that I think there is this belief that, at least in the United States, that as we grow old, we have to have short hair and wear colors that don't stand out or are too bold, and so I think that what's maybe important initially is sort of dismantling or really gently looking at why is that? And does that have anything to do with um, not valuing as much people who are older? Like, because if that's happening, wear colors that don't stand out and so on, then maybe that has to do with older people not being seen, being less valued. And I would say, as we grow older, if you want to have short hair or wear colors that don't stand out just because that's more pleasant to you, then that's fantastic. But if colors bring you joy, if wearing your hair in other ways brings you joy, go ahead and be seen. Go ahead and contribute new values to our culture. We need you. we all need you and that impact. And I thank you. And then, we can play with paradox, like be taken seriously with ponytails, you know and I'll tell you what, like, classically little girls wear ponytails, but I also take seriously little girls. I learn from children all the time. They are so wise, you know so I just think also about the animal kingdom and how peacocks and frogs, their colors don't change as they grow old. They don't say, well, now I should probably wear a different outfit. So I just want to say, you know, let's rethink this about what that means as we grow older. Okay, thank you for being with me. And that I had more questions than that, but that is just a few. And I thank so much, people who have sent me these questions. So I just close with all my color and light and gratitude for you being here. And I want to share with you that the next Insides Matter here on YouTube will air Friday, August 5th. And I will be speaking to divine encounters, light, delight, and in between. Be well.